What's happening, everybody? I'm Todd Tanner. Welcome to Wrestling News Now. They were known as one of the most devastating teams of all time in the world of professional wrestling. I'm talking about the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk. This is who I'm profiling on this edition of Wrestling News Now. If you're passing by and you like the story about the Road Warriors, click that like button. Also subscribe. So let's get right down to it. The Road Warriors, also known as the Legion of Doom or the LOD, were a professional wrestling tag team composed of Road Warrior Hawk and Road Warrior Animal. They performed under the name the Road Warriors. And who can ever forget this infamous team? And what I like about them, when they were in their heyday, especially in the late 70s, going into the early, even into the 90s, they were unbeatable. No one could beat the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors, also known as the Legion of Doom, were a professional wrestling tag team composed of Road Warrior Hawk, Michael Hestrand, and Road Warrior Animal, Joseph Laurinaitis. They performed under the name the Road Warriors in the American Wrestling Association, or the AWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA, and World Championship Wrestling, WCW. And the name Legion of Doom, or LOD, in the World Wrestling Federation, the WWF, now known as the WWE. Under either name, their gimmick was the same: two imposing wrestlers in face paint. For brief periods, other wrestlers were added as stand-in partners for both men. In Japan in the 1990s, Kusuke Power Warrior Sasakai often teamed with Hawk and Animal separately and together, while in WWE were joined by Crush and Droz in the 1990s and Rick in the 2000s. The team also had three managers: Sonny in the 1990s, Christy Hemme in the 2000s, and Paul Ellering, the manager associated with the original team. Paul Ellering was a great manager for the Road Warriors, always carrying with him the Wall Street Journal. Hawk and Animal were known for their impressive physiques, as their physical size was larger than most wrestlers of the era. Their face paint and spiked armor were inspired by the Mad Max film, The Road Warrior. They were the first wrestlers to bring a theme from a movie into the wrestling world. They also introduced a tandem maneuver known as the Doomsday Device. Both men used the move as a team finisher throughout their careers, even when teaming with other partners. The duo headlined multiple events, including Survivor Series in 1991 and In Your House 16 Canadian Stampede, and are regarded by many as the greatest tag team in professional wrestling history. How did it all start? Where did they originate from? Who were responsible for this powerful tag team? Joe Laurinaitis had briefly competed as the Road Warrior before Ole Anderson paired him up with Mike Hestrand to form the Road Warriors in 1983. They were initially brought into Precious Paul Ellering's stable as a replacement for his team of Matt Bourne and Arn Anderson. After Bourne was fired from the company, after a few months of rapid success, the Road Warriors dumped Ellering as manager, claiming that they did not need a manager. This was short-lived, as in early 1984, they and Precious Paul Ellering formed a stable called the Legion of Doom in the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA's Georgia Championship Wrestling territory. The group consisted of the Road Warriors, Jake the Snake Roberts, and the Spoiler. The stable was short-lived, and the name Legion of Doom soon referred only to the Road Warriors and Ellering, with either name used interchangeably throughout their career. Animal reveals in the Road Warriors the life and death of the most dominant tag team in wrestling history, also available on DVD, said that the name Legion of Doom was taken from the Super Friends cartoon. The Road Warriors' high-impact powerhouse style and unique attire quickly got them noticed by fans and dreaded by opponents, so much so that some wrestlers would grab their bag and leave the arena when they saw they were scheduled to face the Road Warriors. In Georgia, the team quickly rose to the top despite being very young and having not undergone the traditional pay and dues period, simply because they were so believable in their role. They gained a reputation for being very stiff and not selling simply because they could, and most of their matches ended quickly as a result. They won the NWA National Tag Team Championship upon their debut, a title that would win 3 more times while in Georgia. They would win that title 3 more times. In 1984, the Road Warriors moved to Vern Gagne's American Wrestling Association along with their manager Paul Early. On August 25th, 1984, they defeated the Crusher and Von Raschke for the AWA World Tag Team titles. The Road Warriors were brought in by Gene to work as heels, but their squash matches soon won over fans. You know, sometimes stuff just don't work out. You got to change it up. They became the AWA's top draw throughout 1984-1985, feuding primarily with the Fabulous Ones and later the Fabulous Freebirds. P.S. Michael Hayes and the Fabulous Freebirds. The Road Warriors then began splitting their time between the AWA and Jim Crockett Promotions, where they started feuding with the NWA World Tag Team Champions, the Russians, all while holding the AWA belts. The AWA and various NWA members were co-promoting cards at the time, something that's not happening too much today. In an effort to compete with the World Wrestling Federation, Hawk and Animal eventually lost the AWA title to Jimmy Garvin and Mr. Electricity, Steven Regal, on September 29, 1985, due to the interference of the Freebirds, those damn Freebirds. The Road Warriors' last appearance in the AWA was on April 20th, 1986 at Wrestle Rock, where they defeated the team of Garvin and Michael Hayes in a steel cage match. During their AWA stint, the tag team became well known for using the Black Sabbath song Iron Man as their entrance theme. And you know what's interesting about the Road Warriors? Not only were they believable, but they could deliver. If you ever saw them, go back and check out some of their earlier work. Go on YouTube. Look up the Road Warriors in Georgia Championship Wrestling. And you're going to find out when those men came on the scene, they struck terror in the atmosphere. In March 1985, the Road Warriors began touring Japan, mainly with All Japan Pro Wrestling, where they made an immediate impact, squashing the monster team of Killer Khan and Animal Hamaguchi in under 4 minutes. This and subsequent dominant victories garnered the Road Warriors a lot of Japanese wrestling media headlines and front page stories. Their tours with All Japan Pro Wrestling in 1985 and 1986 made the Road Warriors such legends in Japan that they toured the country whenever they were between contracts of the Big Three. The Road Warriors won the NWA International Tag Team Championship on March 12, 1987 from Jomo Tsuka and Genichiro Taru, and would hold them for 15 months before losing them to PWF World Tag Team Champion Jumo Torata and Yoshihaya Yatsu to unify the titles as the All Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag Team titles, making the Road Warriors the last defending champions of the NWA International Tag Team titles. Their last match in Japan during this period was on July 22nd, 1990 for New Japan Pro Wrestling, losing to Masahiro Hono and Keiji Muta by disqualification. On April 19, 1986, the Road Warriors won the inaugural Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Tag Team tournament by beating Ronnie Garvin and Magnum TA in the finals. Building upon their rapid push, Hawk and Animal were featured attractions of the Great American Bash 1986 tour, where they were matched against Ivan and Nikita Koloff, as well as the Midnight Express. At Starrcade 86, the Road Warriors were featured in a scaffold match defeating the Midnight Express. The Road Warriors joined forces with Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff in a bloody feud with the Four Horsemen. During the 1987 Great American Bash, the rival sides faced off in the first ever War Games match. The Road Warriors were on the winning side of the War Games both matches that summer, taking their feud with the Horsemen to Starrcade 87, where they lost by disqualification to Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. The Road Warriors also picked up the NWA World Six-Man Tag Team Championship twice alongside Dusty Rhodes. The Warriors engaged in a violent feud with the Powers of Pain, which consisted of the Barbarian and the Warlord, where the Road Warriors finally met their equal physically. But the angle ended when the Powers of Pain left JCP, or Jim Crocker Promotions, after finding out they were booked against the Road Warriors in a series of scalpel matches that they were supposed to lose. I'm going to leave it right here, and I'll pick it up again in the next video. So until next time, for Wrestling News Now, I'm Todd Tanner.